Welcome to MMT Chats. This episode is brought to you by ISCAR with new ideas for machining intelligently.
Hey MMT followers, Christina Fuges back for another MMT Chat. And my guests today are Mike Eden, Dave Tomic, and Jake Eden with Eden Tool and Eden Manufacturing in New Freedom, Pennsylvania. They're here to give us an update on the company since MoldMaking Technology featured them earlier this year, and it seems that a lot has happened. But first, why don't each of you introduce yourselves to remind our viewers who you are and what your roles are at Eden. We'll start with Mike.
Hi there, it's Mike Eden, pretty much president of Eden Tool Company and founder, and then partnered up with Dave Tomic here for Eden Manufacturing to help us into the molding side of things. We started Eden Manufacturing 21 years ago, Eden Tool 21 years ago. November 19, Eden Manufacturing was born. So we've been going through this year with, going through the first year of COVID, and that's when we basically started up. And now we lead into post-COVID, sort of, and we still got a situation of supply chain issues and fighting all that kind of stuff. So it's been an interesting ride so far.
I'm sure. All right, so that's Dave sitting next to you. So Dave, why don't you give a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Dave Tomic, Vice President of Eden Manufacturing. My focus is to launch Eden Manufacturing with Mike, and we're focused on high quality medical device manufacturing through injection molding.
All right, and Jake.
And I'm Jake. I'm in engineering at Eden Tool, but currently I'm studying biomedical engineering at Penn State, trying to bring something new back to Eden Tool and Eden Manufacturing for the future. So
I love that. All right, so now at the time of the story, you guys were ready to start applying this predictive manufacturing, all those principles, to the molding side of the business under Eden Manufacturing. I think you had one molding press at the time, and COVID was delaying the groundbreaking of the new facility to house Eden Manufacturing. So before we get into that update, remind our audience what is, according to you guys, what is, and I guess I'll ask Dave this, because I remember you, this is a passion of yours, right? What is predictive manufacturing?
Predictive manufacturing is the ability to anticipate results, so beforehand, right? So in a nutshell, it means we can put a block in a machine. When it comes to hard milling, we can put a block in a machine and we can cut lights out micron accuracy in 3D shapes. And that really has started in hard milling. It's a foundation of everything we do at Eden Tool, right through the entire manufacturing process. So our PFEMA, when we do process failure effects, right? It's predictive. We take case studies, we look at it, and we design an entire production manufacturing process in exactly the same way. So we can put it in an injection molding machine, and our first off are predictable. We don't miss a first off. We don't miss our cycle time. We don't miss our run time. How we clean the tools, how we prepare the tools, how we maintain the tools. All of that rolls into predictable manufacturing.
Okay, so on the molding side, it sounds like it all began with hard milling on the metal cutting side, the mold side. On the molding side, is there a particular key technology or process to applying those principles on the molding side?
It's really the same fundamental disciplines. So it's actually very similar, but we partner with our process. In hard milling, Makino's a big partner of ours. RoboShot is a big partner of ours on the molding side. However, there's a lot more customization and integration that happens, just like in hard milling, right? It's not just the equipment, it's the process and the support all around it. That is equally true on the production side.
Got it. Makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about this new facility. What is the new timeline? What's going on with that?
Go for it, Mike.
Well, we finally got the new building kicked off here. Of course, COVID has all these the fun delays, and so we finally got footers poured. I guess Tuesday. Tuesday it was.
Oh wow!
So we got some structure going up. We'll be setting roof trusses Monday, the way it looks. Get roof trusses on, then hopefully have all the cement poured by mid-November, third week in November at the latest. So then we can weather it in and proceed on and get everything finished through the winter. So that's a big rush right now, is try to get the concrete in so we can have a winter project, keep it going. So we're looking at, getting the white room in there. That's the first place we're going to be heading towards. We've got a lot of good projects coming on board. We have 2 presses over there right now running in our existing building. So there's a beta site checking out some automation, working through automation problems. We got a boxing line coming in so we can have full automated 24-hour unattended running. But we're trying to get all that implemented in the beta site here, along with some monitoring system, that kind of thing, so that we can when we move the new presses in the new building, we can start up and running without any with very little integration there with any disconnects between the monitoring and the automation, and trying to learn what we have in here now to grow with the new building. Then we can.
So you can hit the ground running, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about, or can you talk a little bit about the current customers, or even prospective customers, or some of the projects that are in the pipeline for Eden Manufacturing, and how that it's all coming about while you're building this new facility?
I think a lot of that is there's definitely what we've seen launching Eden Manufacturing is, and we figured there was supply chain issues beforehand. This is even before COVID, and it's just complicated things and escalated even during COVID. So that's a big part of with our customer base, helping them out with being another vendor, being another outlet for supply chain problems. Especially in time of need now, not only just vendor problems, but also trying to get materials and that kind of stuff too has been a challenge. So with us being we don't have it at a corporate level, just Dave and I, so we don't have to go through corporate to try to buy a bunch of materials if it's available, because even if we don't have orders, we can assume and then just stockpile some plastic here, whatever we got to do, instead of going through all the chain of commands and getting squeezed by a bunch of bean counters.
No, exactly. That's key. So I think it was you guys that kind of coined that phrase, at least to me, about being a redundant supplier in this industry, right? Was the goal for this. And it sounds like you're pushing that forward. And I think that's a smart way of capturing a lot of business, because it's happening and people need that.
Dave talk about, we end up being looking at being a redundant supplier, but a lot of these projects right now, we end up being the main supplier because we can produce.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's part of our background, right? So we've been very fortunate to be surrounded with great people, and it takes a team to launch this. But good project management, good discipline. We've not missed a timeline, really. We're still certified in the summer. That was our goal. The building's a delay, and we're compressing that timeline to get it back on track to effectiveness. So in our entire launch, we really haven't missed a major milestone at all. And it's taken a lot of work from everybody, but that's really, really important. And that's important to our customers, because unfortunately right now, the industry is a little taxed out. They're full. Timelines are slipping pretty bad. And we're doing everything in our power to hold timelines really, really tight.
Yeah, kudos to you for doing that, because that is key. All right, so Mike, I saw you at Amerimold in September. Thank you for coming out with that. I think you brought your new marketing person. Am I correct with that? Was walking along with you?
The office admin.
Okay, your admin. All right, so what was your agenda? Why were you looking for something in particular? Talk a little bit about what you saw and if there was an agenda coming out to that trade show.
Yeah, I wanted to see what was new. It's been a while since we've been out with the office administrator now. She's helping order a bunch of different things for us, all the materials, and so I wanted to get her to meet some of the buyers and different things out there. So it was just a meet and greet for her, and her to understand a little bit what we're buying and what we're doing. But I was really interested in what's new out there, especially when it comes to slide mechanisms, any kind of unclapsable cores and on the technical side. And I tell you, I was really, really impressed with that show. It was big, which I don't, but it was very, very detailed and very detailed to the American mold manufacturer.
I'm glad to hear that from your perspective, that you found it worth your while. So that's always great.
it was definitely worthwhile, and we do appreciate people like you would help put that together and help the industry keep on top of it. It's not a huge show, but it's very condensed, and it's just strictly for us mold manufacturers.
Yeah, we like to say it's focused, it's targeted. It's not big, it's targeted. So everything there is for you guys. All right, Jake, let's get to Eden Manufacturing. So when I was out there, probably in 2020, I could even feel it. Part of the video and part of the feature was your passion for helping to build this new aspect, right, to Eden Manufacturing. So can you talk about what has transpired for you personally, like academically, obviously, and even professionally at Eden Manufacturing since 2020?
Yeah, so as I said, currently I'm at Penn State right now studying biomedical engineering. I want to continue to learn more about materials and med devices specifically. I think in the future it'd be beneficial for us as a whole to be able to help customers with selecting materials, especially in times of shortages that we're in now. And I still haven't lost hope for us to have our own med device one day. So trying to soak in as much as I can there. And while I'm here, I'm still designing or still dimensioning prints for engineering, trying to learn as much as I can for mold making or mold design. But I've got a ways to go, but I'm looking forward to the future, that's for sure.
How much time you have left in school?
I've got about 2.5 years yet. I'm going in the second semester of my sophomore year.
And I have to ask you something. There's a lot of talk about education when it comes to plastics engineering, mold design, mold making. Do you have any so far in your education? Is there something that you think is missing that you wish would be taught, especially since you have this personal exposure to the actual physical environment, so you know what you kind of need to know once you hit the ground running in person? Is there something that's lacking?
Yeah, so we talk about this a lot at the shop, and I think there's that hands-on aspect to things in college that's really missing, because you learn so much that doesn't directly apply to what you're going to be doing, that you can only learn by being hands-on. And I think if that was integrated into schools, it would be a big help to not only the kids coming out, but the people who are hiring them. I think it would just increase the what's the word I'm looking for? The output. I think it would increase the output of what kids can do coming out of school.
I agree with that. It's tough. You have a good insight on that because that's what you've been doing probably your whole life. So is there a particular project when you think about what's being worked on back at the facility and you being at school, is there something you're excited to come back to and work on?
Yeah, so they're currently working on a stack mold of the shop, and that's something I've never been around before. So it'd just be something new to experience and something new to learn. So that's going to be something I look forward to coming back.
And how's the collaboration between you, Dave, and Mike while you were away? I mean, let's face it, we all got pretty darn good during COVID, working pretty effectively remotely. But how is that working for you, being that integral into a new company, basically?
It's different because you're not always having face-to-face contact, but we stay in touch with emails. We kind of had a good plan before I left to how things were going to work. So basically emails, I do my work, I call them when I can, and just staying in touch, really.
That's awesome. So is there anything you guys, Mike and Dave, see for Jake in the coming years?
A huge.
You know?
The fun is Jake doesn't even know how high the ceiling is, right? And it's fun to watch someone grow in and mature through a technical side, right? We have a bunch of young apprentices and younger skilled with our older skilled, and they're all learning. It's fun to learn and be in a collaborative environment. This younger generation keeps us on our toes and pushes us, and we love it. It's great.
Let me ask you this. Is there a difference? So since I was out there, with Jake really moving into this role, that age difference, right? Like you have somebody coming up in this leadership role, really. Has he been able to share and give you guys a different perspective, even on a particular project that's opened your eyes to a better or a new way of doing something?
With the younger generation, I can't say directly, but what I like about the younger generation is they adapt very well. Any kind of technology we bring in, they're hungry for. It's like, oh yeah, let's learn it. A lot of times the older generation, they sort of get comfortable, and they can't say they fight technology, but they don't want to really dive into it. But these kids, they get around it. Every single phone they get is something different, and they're constantly learning something new. So it does not that with the new kids, that's one thing that's been a huge benefit for me to understand is those kids, they adapt very, very well with technology. And we're very technology driven here at Eaton Tool and Eaton Manufacturing. So those kids, we got a bunch of, since you were out here, we got, some other younger kids in here now. We have actually brought a guy on just a mentor or apprenticeship program and mentor younger kids. So I know everybody's, looking for help and screaming for help. But we've been very, very, very fortunate here that there's a lot of people come to us. They see what's going on. They're following us on social media. They like what the growing. They like the Eaton manufacturing, like the technology we're in. And we got a lot of people coming to us for that want to be part of it. So that's been huge.
Opportunity. Right,
Yeah,
you're showcasing
exactly.
the opportunity. So Jake, I would imagine you agree with all that, but is there something from your perspective, do you see aspects of the company or Mike and Dave that you have changed or want to change or something that you want to implement?
No, so I think one thing that I got really excited about that Dave actually implemented is we brought in our first 3D printer, and it's something so small, but it's something that I feel like could be useful and could grow into something a little more. So just little steps like that and talking to Dave, and it's been great to see. Fun
Is that
experience.
3D printer on the polymer side or on the metal side?
I'll let Dave talk about that one.
Oh, polymer. We used it as a prototyping. So proof of concept, prototyping, development, et cetera. So, Jake's done a good job. He's printed some 3D concepts for our end of arm on some new tooling and through some prototyping, early development. And, he did a great job with that. And we get results early and we can risk mitigate very, very early.
Yeah, that's key. So I think technology, I love to hear that, is what's keeping you ahead of things, right? Is implementing all that. You can't do business in this world, right, without having that right technology. I'm seeing that is a trend, even despite COVID. All of you guys, most shops I'm talking to are investing, and they're investing in newer equipment. So it's exciting to see that. All right. So last but not least, any new hot rods that you're working on?
Hot rods, Mike. What you showed up today?
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, you picked a good time, Christina.
Good day. And you missed it because that guy spent the night in State College last night.
Oh.
We brought in we just brought a 67 chassis, a Chevrolet chassis with a camper on it, all original 60,000 original mile motorhome type it is. And so yeah, we're going to use it not to camp, but we're going to use the tailgate up at Penn State and use it for golf outings here for Eaton Tool, and we go to some golf outings.
Wonderful. All right, you need to send me a photo of that so we can incorporate in here and showcase that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We did a couple hot rod tours. Real quick though, we did a tour with Bear Jackson here, the auction company, and it came through past the shop here. So we I guess 2 Saturdays ago, we sponsored a dinner for everybody. So we had 47 cars here, like 100 people here.
I saw that on social media.
Yep. So
yeah,
it was really nice to come through, and it was. I always enjoy. Of course, I'm a hot rod guy, but I always enjoy explaining American manufacturing to a lot of different people, and it was those people the whole way through the tour. We never stayed any place more than 15-20 minutes after we're fed. They were here for 3.5 hours. So we had to. Wow. And we showed them, some things going on and how things work from start to finish. I have my daughter over here engraving some keychains for them. We actually assembled some magnifying glasses that were given away for everybody that Jake helped design, and we molded over here. So it was pretty neat. It was, people just don't understand like what it takes to make some of those things. And
exactly.
I enjoy showing people because they have a little bit more respect on what things cost at that point also.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, you know what, your passion for hot rods, or your obsession, is actually a great marketing tool for the industry, because that's drawing people in, and then they get to see what's really important around Eaton Tool and Eaton manufacturing. So I think that's fantastic, right? Turning a passion into a nice marketing tool.
And some of these kids coming in here, I had a guy contact us out of the blue, younger boy, 20 years old. He knew me through hot rods, but he's also a tool maker, and wants to come down and be part of it. But it's like that. He likes the hot rod side of things too, So
it works
down here, So
excellent. All right, that about does it. Be sure to keep in touch as things continue to progress with Jake, with you, with schooling and coming back in full time, and with you too, Dave and Mike. I want to keep this continuing, the story going, because I think everyone can learn, and it's good positive news that the industry continues to move forward. So good luck with everything.
Thanks.
Yeah, you know, with the downturn, like, don't be afraid to invest right now, because it's that's
Exactly.
what we got to do. You know, so keep on investing, especially in automation, and I try to tell everybody that. So.
And remember, for everyone watching, for everything mold making, visit moldmakingtechnology.com. Stay safe and healthy, and more importantly, stay informed and stay inspired.